Thanks, listeners, for joining us for Elko Live today. We're so pleased to feature in studio Jill Tingey from UNR Extension. And Jill, Happy New Year. I can say that because this is the first time I've seen you in the new year.
Yes, Happy New Year. It's great to be here this afternoon.
Thank you so much. We know you have a busy agenda today. You'll be headed to county commission meetings, so you can make a presentation there. But we appreciate commissioners sharing their Wednesday time with the various departments and agencies that the county collaborates with to improve the quality of life here.
Yeah, we certainly appreciate our partnership with Elko County and the university and just all that the county provides and helps us with.
There's a lot to look forward to in this new year. And in fact, among the tops on the agenda, you're going to be making a presentation today. What is the Elko County Needs Assessment, Jill?
Yes, so it has been a very long time that I have conducted a needs assessment. I mean, it's embarrassing to say how long it's been. It's been about 12 years since, well, no, longer than that.
Since we had a little thing called COVID.
We did have that, yes. But it's been a long time that we have conducted a needs assessment. And in Extension, the way that we base our educational programs is based on the community needs. And so we are reaching out to all of the community throughout our entire county to ask individuals to go in and participate in this needs assessment and answer some questions and let us know what you think are top priorities that need education and need a focus by the university to make changes in our community.
And Jill, if you wouldn't mind, since you have been doing this will be your third one, I think you said, right? Second one. That's okay. That what of the needs that have been identified been in the past, maybe to give people an idea?
Yeah, great question. And so one of them was, my number 2 issue that was identified back in 2012 when I published the needs assessment was preventing child abuse. And then kind of partnering with that, on number 6 was preventing domestic violence. And so I'll talk a little bit about our Heart and Hope Family Violence Intervention Program, which is a direct result of the needs assessment, and how we got that program started was because Elko County residents felt that those were high priority needs to address. Another example, water, whether it was water quality, quantity, all those things were very high in the needs assessment, and that is not my background. And at the time in Extension, we did not have anyone actually who could do much with water. And now we're in the process with the College of Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Biotechnology to hire a water specialist that will help address some of those things. So sometimes it takes a long time, but those needs assessments may inform even positions. And so a whole variety of things can come out of needs assessments and making changes in communities and providing more education for people to be better prepared to make decisions for the county.
Yeah, and as you said, we'll be talking about the Heart and Hope, but there are tangible results as a result of this type of an assessment. It may take a few years, but those things do take time, especially, as you said, when you're looking to hire staff, you have to complete analysis, and you get to work on the ground. So if people click on this link,
yes, if they click on the link, then it just takes them, a little bit to read, just to explain that, it's all voluntary, and if they want to stop taking the survey, they certainly can, and that their information is confidential. Actually, their email is not connected, nor is their ISP connected with the survey, and we take the aggregate data, which means that we take all the surveys together and then do a statistical analysis to learn what those high priority needs are. And so in no way can I go forward and know, Lori, if you participated in the survey, I won't be able to know that. And that's the way we want it. And so that's a nice thing for people to know, is that they can't be identified in taking the survey. And really, I think the greatest maybe cost of participating is maybe your time to think carefully as to how you want to answer the questions that are on there. I think it takes maybe 20 minutes to take the survey, so It's not terribly long.
No, and it does give you a chance to participate as a citizen, as a resident, maybe someone who's lived here for just a short time, or you're in a native Nevadan, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want all opinions, and we want people from all corners of our county too. So we definitely want to include people who are in Carlin, in Jackpot, West Wendover, Wells, and all of our ranches and communities all the way to Oahe as well.
So does this tie in with Fred Steinman's strategic planning that he did with the city? No, that's separate.
What Fred is working on is separate. I know that there's a National Science Foundation study that has been done that was really trying to reach ranchers and people interested in natural resources, and they were looking at heat, drought issues, and so that's also a little bit different, and wildfire issues. That's a little bit different. So we're not asking as many questions in that area just because there is a survey. And I think there's been something that's more of just a specific agriculture survey that's out there too, an understanding survey. So those were really specific, whereas this needs assessment is really looking much broader at what are the broader issues in our county.
And certainly it's part of that national conversation we're having right now too, Jill, coming up in an election year about, cost of living, affordable housing. I mean, those could be topics.
Yes, yes, absolutely. That's really important. Our economic development program in Extension does a lot of work in that area. And so, that will also inform the types of studies that they do. They did a hunting study a few years ago and looking at what is the economic impact for Elko County, because so many people from around the state come and hunt in our county. And so do we receive any economic benefit? And the great thing was that the study was able to identify that, yes, we do receive benefit from that.
I think millions of dollars is what it concluded. Yeah. So again, another tangible result of taking the needs assessment. So this website is the one that you want them to visit?
Yes. And so the website is https://tinyurl, so tinyurl.com/Elko Needs. NEEDS.
All right. And if they go to the Extension website, might they find it there? Or I'll write. I've got this written down. I'll just help people remember.
Yes. And if people need this tiny link, they could also call our office, and we're happy to give that to you over the phone as well. Or they can always email me, but if they're on the radio, it's hard to write down my email as well. But yes, they can call our office at 775-738-7291, and we'll be happy to provide that with them too.
Jill, thank you for the update there. Again, it's time again for a needs assessment. Jill Tingey is with our UNR Extension right here in Elko on Walnut Street. And speaking of on Walnut Street, you can swing by there if Jill doesn't bring you one personally. Your free radon kit. You are known as the radon lady. Is that it?
I hope not, but
I know,
but maybe.
It's an important message.
It is an important message. And so that would be another example of, in Extension, we have 6 program areas that we are required to provide educational programming by our Nevada legislative statutes. And so our 6 program areas are health and nutrition, agriculture, natural resources, horticulture, which is gardening, and children, youth, and families, or we also say personal development for that, community and economic development, and then the health and nutrition. And so radon fits under that health and nutrition. And so that's the reason we do a lot of educational programming in that area, because Nevada rates very high out of the United States in the number of homes that test high for radon exposure. And so it really is a leading cause of cancer. In fact, in women, it causes more cancer than breast cancer, which is kind of crazy to even imagine. And it's really simple to test to find out if you're being exposed to radon. And remember that radon is a colorless, odorless, and tasteless gas, and you don't know that it is in your home unless you test. And so the great thing is we have free test kits here our office. They are very easy to use, and we just highly encourage. This is actually the time of year to do the testing. We want you to test while your doors and your windows are closed when it's cold, because you'll get more of an accurate reading if you test. And if you do receive a result that's higher in reading, the first thing we would recommend is doing a second 3-day test. And then, if they need to do a long-term test, that's an option. And then there are ways to mitigate homes, and not all of those ways are really, really expensive. And there's oftentimes things that people can do themselves to make some adjustments to their home versus, having to hire a contractor and doing a huge project. Sometimes it does take a huge project, but most of the time it really doesn't.
Well, and healthcare costs are much more, obviously, in trying to recover from a lung cancer. So this, I also heard good news from you at one of your recent presentations. There are some new type of kits.
There are some new kits. We have the regular little small ones that we always pass out. Those are the ones that are free. We have long-term kits. Those do cost money that we do charge for those, but you get to sit those out for a much longer term. And so you probably get a better reading or a result, but we like you to start with the first one versus going to the more expensive. And then finally, we have digital tests as well. And so we tried it out in the office, and we were glad. There's very little radon in the office. The readings were good. And that's a pretty quick thing that you can do. You can test for a week. You can do a little bit longer than that, but we'll have people only test for a few days with that digital reading. But that's a nice thing, because then you have the results right there, and you're not waiting for the lab to email you the results. But you do get your results from the lab quite quickly as well. So yes, we are willing to work with anyone on whatever they would kind of like to try. We would just highly encourage people to test their homes.
Thank you, Jill. That's an important reminder. You can get those kits free at the Extension office?
At the Extension office. Our office is located at 701 Walnut Street. We're about a block away from Great Basin College, the Elko campus. So we would love to have you come by, and we'll get you information and get you a kit.
Perfect. Thanks, Jill. And then some may not be familiar with the UNR Sanford Center. Maybe tell us about that.
Yeah, so the university has a center called the Sanford Center for Aging. And they're the faculty that work in that department and that center, their work focuses on older adults and the health of older adults. And they have a grant that they recently received that is addressing chronic diseases and hypertension. We know that we find that in older adults, but this grant can also cover adults with disabilities too. And they are hiring facilitators who they train virtually, which is nice. Our facilitators don't have to go to Reno to get trained, and they are trained on these two programs, and then our facilitators will lead classes here in Elko County. And so I am working with the Sanford Center to help them identify community members who might be those facilitators. The pay is actually really nice. It is a very part-time position, but they would be teaching about a 90-minute class once a week for 6 weeks. Then there'll be a little break as they recruit new people. And so the ideal would be to teach the chronic disease self-management class twice in the year, and then also the hypertension class twice in the year. So offering more programs for people and having a chance to be with community members versus having to drive somewhere or hear from someone who doesn't understand what it's like to grocery shop here in Elko County.
Wow, that's a really cool opportunity. Gosh, Jill, so I could see you collaborating, with the Elko Senior Center, perhaps.
Yes. So I've had some meetings over there,
with
and
Matt.
Yeah. Well, more with one of the volunteers over there right now. But
nice.
We will actively be trying to get Senior Center participants as well as any older adult in our county to participate.
Great. So the best way to find out about that is to reach out to you
Yes,
directly?
please reach out to me directly
Perfect.
at the office, 738-7291.
Now, this next class sounds super cool, and anybody who loves their houseplants but is constantly bewildered why their houseplants aren't pepping up when they talk to them, right?
Or they're not playing music or whatever it might be, and those plants still don't look the way you would like them to. We have a Houseplants 101 workshop coming up on February 27th at 1 p.m. It's free, and it's for anyone in the community who likes houseplants or would like to grow houseplants and just finds them frustrating to grow, or you have a problem plant. We'd love to have you come. Amber Huff, who is our master gardener, is going to be leading that class, and we're really excited to be able to offer it this winter. I think it's a perfect time of year to focus on houseplants. And if people are interested, we have this big, huge plant that just is like spreading out all over a counter, and we're going to give starts away for free. So if people want, another plant, they can come to the workshop and get something for free as well.
What fun. That's on February 27th. You got to get signed up in advance for this one. Houseplants 101. It is a 1 p.m., February 27th workshop.
Yeah. And it's at the Extension office, but we do need people to register ahead of time, just so that we make sure we have enough space our conference rooms aren't huge. And if we if we had more than what our conference room will hold, then maybe we'll look at a different location so that we can have more people attend.
All right. So if the houseplants are your thing, or you want them to be your thing, and this is a great opportunity, Jill. Houseplants 101 from our local extension service. And 4-H is year-round. We need to talk about all the amazing Elko County 4-H youth development opportunities.
Yes. Well, yes. Like you said, 4-H is year-round. We always have things going on, and we always have things in the works. And one of the things we have, another position, is we will be hiring AmeriCorps members again this year. And our hope is to have 2 positions. One position would be 675 hours, and the other position would work 300 hours. And their goal would be to run some day camps, help us run our 4-H camp up at Lamoille Canyon as well. And so really we hope that we can hire a couple of really great people who are pretty much self-starters, and they can get things going. So we're looking for maybe alumni, or maybe people who are GBC students, or a retired teacher, or maybe a teacher who's looking for something else to do in the summer. The really interesting thing about the AmeriCorps program is that we say hours because part of the perk, the pay is not the perk, but the perk is that they get a stipend towards education. And we didn't know, but like you could be a grandparent, and you may have a grandchild who is looking to go to college, and you can transfer that stipend to a grandchild or a child, which is really kind of interesting that they allow them to do that. So we want people to know that it's a really unique opportunity to work with kids, to plan some really innovative, important activities for young people, and focus on youth thriving. So if people are interested, they are certainly, we want them to call our office or email us, and we'd be glad to get them the information on the program.
That's great. Hiring now for these new positions, and that's for AmeriCorps, and again, some wonderful benefits in addition to working with youth in our community, Jill.
Yeah.
And then you have ongoing livestock?
We have ongoing livestock judging classes going on Wednesdays at 6 o'clock at Great Basin College, and it's led by one of our volunteers, and 2 of her daughters have gone through the program, and sometimes they co-teach with their mom, but they do such a nice job. And it's really interesting. Over the years, we've had a number of young people get college scholarships to be on livestock judging teams. So there's a lot of opportunity for higher education, or just to learn more about animals and to have a good sense. Anyone wanting to be a veterinarian someday, it's excellent experience to be on a team like this, because vet schools look at those kinds of things, and they want to see young people coming into a vet school who've had some experience in extracurricular activities that relate to animal science.
Yeah, it's wonderful outreach in the community too. It's just part of the Elko County 4-H youth development. You have amazing leadership. And speaking of, there's a training coming up for that right away.
Yes, we have our annual 4-H, countywide 4-H leadership training, and it is for our county ambassadors, which are older youth, run and lead this program. And it is really, it's geared for kids who are club officers in their 4-H clubs, and then any kid really who's in 4-H or not in 4-H but wants to learn more, who wants to become a leader someday. And so, a lot of team building activities, learning how to run meetings, all those things transfer later on in life. When we look at the research on what young people get out of 4-H, we see that young people in 4-H tend to vote more than people who haven't been in 4-H. They tend to be active in their communities and serve on community boards and nonprofit organizations as well as elected positions, all those things. And it's just those little things about how do you run an effective meeting. They learn that early on, and it transfers later on in life.
And what a great confidence builder, as you said. Even, for now, they can become involved in their school activities, whether it's sports or participating, as you said, in different clubs. What a great opportunity. The training, it's not too late to sign up, or do you already have folks?
It's not too late.
Okay, good.
They can, if they are like dying to do something like this, and I tell you, it is a lot of fun. It's a morning of fun. They can give us a call at the office, and we'll try to squeeze them in.
Perfect, Jill. And then you also have an art club that meets regularly.
We do. We have art club. It's really craft club more than it is fine arts, but they just have a ball every third Friday of the month. They're in the office creating something really cool and fun, and we just have a marvelous volunteer who leads that group, and older kids who also help younger kids with whatever the craft or activity is. And so again, we just ask that people call ahead. It's certainly open to young people 9 to 19, 5 to 19, but we do need people to call ahead because sometimes we have waiting lists because we only have so much room in the office, and it is kind of messy, so we don't feel comfortable like going to a lot of other community locations to do the activity.
Yes.
And so we do need to know how many are going to be there, so we have the right amount of supplies and we have the space to do it too. And then we also, mentioning the livestock judging classes, those lead up to our Kiwanis Invitational Livestock Judging and contest, as well as our Skillathon contest. We're ever so grateful to the Kiwanis Club because they sponsor the event with the awards for the livestock judging, which is a beautiful buckle, and as well as ribbons for other awards. And that event is going to be on March 21st, and really the public is welcome to come out and kind of see. It's not quite like the fair. It's not as exciting to watch kids show because they're not showing. They're really just judging a pen of animals, and the public really can't be in that area because part of judging is doing it on your own, and we would not ever want anyone to be cheating because then you don't get to participate in the awards if you've
got some
you
help.
haven't been honest.
Yes.
But the public certainly would be welcome in the afternoon for the awards portion of it. I guess it's a little more exciting to come for the Skillathon, which we do right after the judging is over, and Kiwanis puts on a luncheon for us. And then after that luncheon, we have the Skillathon. That can be a little more fun because it's a little more hands-on for the public to watch. But
And it's a great way to support those students and the volunteers who make all this possible,
that's
Jill.
right. Yeah, we couldn't do 4-H without volunteers.
And speaking of, that brings us to the shooting sports instructor training.
Yes. So 4-H shooting sports, it's one of our largest projects here in Elko County. But in order to help young people with shooting as a 4-H volunteer leader, in our state, we require anyone who's going to be working with youth at the range and on the line, they must go through additional training. So all of our volunteers go through training. They're all fingerprinted, all those kinds of things. But shooting sports leaders have an additional requirement, and that is 15 hours of experience at the range. And so on March 28th and 29th, we will be holding a shooting sports instructor training. And if anyone likes kids and they really like shooting and they'd like to maybe spend some of their time on Saturdays or Thursday nights, or we offer training both on Saturdays as well as on Thursday evenings for kids once the weather gets a little bit warmer. And so people are encouraged to let us know that they would like to volunteer. We do need to get them fingerprinted quickly so that we have those results. And there is a price to it, but we can also help with the training fees if that's an issue for people.
Yeah, the fingerprints are so much better now, Jill. You used to get all messy and inky, and now everything's digital. They come back really quickly, too. So.
It's inky at our office.
At your office?
We're still old
inky.
School.
Oh, okay.
But that's the great thing is that we don't have to send people to the sheriff's department or the city police department to have their fingerprints done. We can do them in-house, and we just need a half an hour heads up that they're coming by so we can heat up the machine.
And everybody needs an inky fingerprint experience at least once to appreciate.
It comes off quickly.
It does. I was just remembering how long ago that was. Oh my gosh. Jill Tingey is our guest today, and she's with our UNR Extension. So many different opportunities that are coming up this season. Extension works year-round, and one of the most successful programs, and you mentioned this, as a result of the needs assessment, has been the Heart and Hope, Jill.
Yeah, so Heart and Hope Family Violence Intervention Program. We've been going strong since 2015 and have I can't even count up quickly how many sessions we have done, but we typically do 2 sessions per year. And so we'll be starting our spring session on March 3rd. And this program is really geared for families who have been affected or exposed to domestic violence or intimate partner violence. And those eligible, typically it might be the non-offending parent and their children. We also make it eligible a couple of other caveats for people to participate. Sometimes we have young people, children, and our program for the children piece of it is birth to 18 years old is who we are targeting with that. But sometimes our kids are not in the care of their birth parents or biological parents. However, they may be in the care of a family member, or they might be in foster care, but they had grown up in a home where there was intimate partner violence. And so that family would also, any custodial type families also can participate. And we've had quite a few families in those situations participate. And it's kind of been a relief, because sometimes it might be a grandparent, it might be an aunt who maybe raised kids a long time ago, and whoa, now I have this new family again, and this is all new and different. And how do I parent? How do I provide those guidelines for this next generation? And so that's a place that people can come. We've also had a couple times where families parents are in very happy relationships and haven't had unhealthy relationships, but they grew up in a home where there was domestic violence, and they want to make sure that they don't repeat any of those cycles with their family that they have today. And so they may be eligible to participate as well. The program is free. We're always looking for businesses or organizations who'd be willing to donate. Oftentimes we are so grateful when we get a little donation. That helps us provide a healthy family meal to our families. And so we like to start the program. We start it in the early evening, because some people are getting straight off work and then picking up their kids and coming to our program. We like to provide a meal. Not only is it helpful to busy families, but also to teach that idea of having conversations and connecting with one another at the dinner table. And then we break out into groups. We have parents in one room. We have youth in another room, teens in another room, and our kids birth to 8 might be in separate rooms as well. And while we have kind of the same themes each week for all breakout groups, the way we teach to those themes, such as team building or communication skills, problem solving, emotional awareness, healthy relationships, all those things are taught in a way that's developmentally appropriate. So the way we teach healthy relationships with our infants and toddlers is different than our teens, but it really is focusing on that, on those topics. So it's a wonderful, fun program, and it's really cool to see families make those changes and really be able to connect better and develop those healthy relationships. And it is our hope and our goal that we are preventing future victims and perpetrators of domestic violence.
Jill Tingey talking about the Heart and Hope, an extremely successful program, and really has a lot of peer support and that one-on-one contact that's needed, and learning new life skills. It sounds like you're describing. We talk about breaking the cycle, but it's really also giving people the tools that they need so that they can achieve this independence.
Yeah, it's so hard. Oftentimes when we are working with those who have been affected by domestic violence to make those changes. And so, really what people come away with is some really tangible things that they learn and can do with their families to strengthen their families and become more resilient. I think one of the most wonderful things that I love about the evaluations is to see that there's hope. We actually ask a question on, do you have hope in the future? Do you have a confidence in your ability to parent? And parents are saying yes to those things, and we see statistical significance in the skills that parents gain through the program. And then we see those skills also built with our youth and teens. We don't evaluate our young children, but certainly we notice a difference as staff from week 1 to week 9 in the changes that young children can make in being able to verbalize and express their feelings and to be able to play nicely with their friends and all those kinds of things that maybe sound funny, but if they aren't built at some point in their lives, we know that they are more likely to have other difficulties later on in their childhood, teenhood, and beyond.
Well, Jill, thank you. That's so encouraging to hear about the Heart and Hope program. Again, the new session begins soon, March 3rd.
It does, March 3rd. And so if anyone is interested, they can always give us a call, but we actually allow people to register online on our website. And so our website is extension.unr.edu. And then once you get there, you can go to the search and just type in Heart and Hope, or you can type in domestic violence, and you will get there. You'll scroll down a little bit and be able to register, be able to fill out the registration form right away. And then our coordinator, our marvelous coordinator, Julie Woodbury, will give you a call and set everything up and let you know where we meet and when we meet.
Thank you so much, Jill. What a great opportunity. These and many other opportunities available through our UNR Extension. You can find them, as you said, online, extension.unr.edu. 775-738-7291 is another avenue for signing up for a variety of programs.
Yeah. And if anyone wanted to reach out directly, they can always email me as well. And my email is Tingey, Tingey, and J for Jill, so TingeyJ @unr.edu.
Jill, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, listeners, for joining us for Elko Live today with our guest, Jill Tingey from UNR Extension.